Hi, this is Damien from AtHope, and I am an Axiological Atheist. And I'm here with April. April, could you go ahead and tell us about yourself? But could you tell us your name and what kind of atheist you are?
My name is April Poff. I'm from the southwestern corner of Virginia here. My cat is currently trying to get on screen, so I'm trying to get her to jump down. Atheist, basically, I've never seen much proof or evidence for any sort of supreme beings. Anti-theist, I had in my little bio. I am actually more anti-theism. Just kind of think that, for the most part, religion's a bad idea. It produces more bad than good, and the good that it does produce can be gotten in many other ways.
Okay.
That's kind of a short thumbnail there.
Well, thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, I'm an anti-theist. Well, I see it more as anti-theism for me is basically the rejection of theism, which is a religion with gods. I also classify as an anti-religionist because I'm against religions that don't have gods. So, but that's my thing, because I see them all as bad. But, anyways, so did you start with a religious background, or were you always a non-believer?
Started with what I call potluck Christianity. Basically, you can't get into heaven without a covered dish. So a really mild form of your basic Methodist, Baptist sort of Protestantism. I would probably go to church with my grandmother when I'd stay over at her house on weekends, maybe 3-4 times a year. So, and I would usually be in the little Christmas and Easter pageants, just because I was a really good reader and I liked being in front of people and doing performances and things. And basically, I came up not really believing in a lot of it. I saw it more as poetry, more as kind of, well, these are some symbolic stories, kind of like Greek myths or Norse myths or anything else.
Okay.
About age 13, I got hold of some neo-pagan literature. Started out with Sybil Leek's My Life as a Witch.
Okay.
And pretty much through high school and on through college, did the whole neo-pagan thing. A lot of atheists I've met have come through the neo-pagan route. Less of a deity. I was less concerned with deities than I was animism, that things have spirits, things have some sort of vibrational connection with the past as well as the future, that sort of thing. And of course, it provided a great deal of community too. And I loved, basically, neo-pagans have the best parties. I'll say that to anybody.
Yeah.
And we did. We had a lot of fun throughout that. And eventually, I just kind of settled down into, I never have really believed in any kind of gods, supreme beings. Even now, I will still talk to my car when it's acting up.
You talk to
Do what?
So you talk to what? I didn't understand.
I'll talk to my car if it's acting up.
Oh, your car.
Yeah, inanimate objects.
Oh.
Because even if you know something's not right, it doesn't mean that your lizard brain doesn't feel some sort of satisfaction from yelling at it.
Right, yeah. No, yeah. Been there, done that.
That's pretty much where I've gotten to by my kind of midlife here.
So, so you're no longer a pagan, or you said you're still kind of a pagan, but you're an atheist? I mean, I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm just asking.
Oh yeah, I see the pagan myths and all of that as, well, I think the high priest of the Icelandic group that's erecting the new Norse temple to the Norse gods, I think he put it best when he talked about he didn't think that he or any of his people really thought that a one-eyed man is going to come down from the clouds riding an 8-footed horse, but that the stories have symbolic meaning, that they are ways to understand in a poetic way the forces of nature and the forces inherent in human psychology as well. And it's just a very nice poetic shorthand more than anything else.
And so that's what you're saying. You think that way, or you don't?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just like the way he put it. That's the way
Yeah.
yeah, I really like the pagan myths, the idea of celebrating the seasons as they come around. Um, I mean, I'm a bit of a foodie too, so I mean, when I go into the grocery store and I see the first acorn squash of the season, I get really excited because it's a changeover. Same way as I get excited when I see the first strawberries of the spring season. And I think there's nothing wrong with celebrating that. Let's have a strawberry party, and a strawberry cake, and a strawberry pie.
Yeah. Oh, I like food, so I feel you there. Yeah. I mean, I know some other atheists, like a lot of atheists in secular groups in general, celebrate winter solstice and all that. I don't, because to me that's just more religion, and I don't celebrate any holidays because I feel they're all mostly, religious based. So, but I mean, everyone's got to do it their own way. So it just that's not something I do, but I do celebrate food. Or at least I don't say celebrate, but I do enjoy food.
I like the idea of every day being a celebration of, well, what's happening now, what is good, because there is so much bad out there that can just weigh you down so bad. And just finding a very small positive thing to focus on for a few minutes can really, it gives me courage. It gives me courage to say, okay, there's this one good thing, maybe I can face down a few more bad things.
Yeah, like I said, I don't define how other people should think, definitely. So that's cool. And so have you brought some of that into your atheism? Like, have you got involved in? There is, I think, some that are atheist pagans. Have you got involved in that or no?
No, I haven't really. I'm a bit of a hermit.
You're a hermit.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because you're where you're at geographically?
Somewhat. I used to be fairly gregarious and outgoing. Then I got into a stage of life where I really worked and tried to get out of debt. And I spent most of my time working, and I just plain got out of the habit of socializing a lot. And now it's a lot of it is economic. I've been out of work for a little over a year, so that's kind of put a lot of damper on the things that I used to do.
Oh yeah, I would imagine. I'm sorry to hear that you're out of work.
Mm-hmm. Well, I went back and got a Master's of Business Administration, graduated in 2009.
That's good. You went to school. You were being productive.
Immediately made me unemployable, essentially.
Really? Going to school is not a good thing, huh?
Not always,
Wow.
Always before, I had always walked into basically anywhere. And, I've done many types of jobs, fill out the application, when can you start? Can you start right now? Never lacked for a job. I'd sometimes work 3 or 4 at a time. As soon as I got my master's, nobody's been wanting me. So.
Wow, that's too bad to hear. Education, it should be a thing. I think it's sad too that it seems like our country really is going for the dumbing down of America in general. I mean, really, education or intellect is seen as like some kind of negative thing.
It really is, because I've had several people look at that and say, well, don't you think you're a little overqualified for this job? And so what I would say is, well, I'm geographically limited right now. I'm trying to stick close to my mother. I'm an only child, and she's basically by herself right now. And I'd like to, even though she's perfectly capable of taking care of herself right now, I'd like to stay near her and make sure that I can help her if she needs it. So it's not like I can jet off to another country or another city to take a job. I've basically got to stay here somewhere.
Right.
This is in Southwest Virginia. We have a lot of universities, we have a lot of colleges, but not a lot of things that would really need a business administration degree. Just kind of the wrong field.
No, that's too bad. Well, at least you're being a humanist and taking care of your mother. That's good.
Trying to. She takes care of me in some things, and I take care of her in others, and we just kind of lean on each other.
Yeah, well, that's one thing I always tell people. For me, it's once I removed religion and realized there's no God or no sky daddy or something, going to come and save me, or, it gave me more compassion for other people that, we are it, and if we don't help, nobody does. I mean, I feel so much more compassion now than I did before. That people matter. People have value, and I don't value ideas anymore. And certainly not more than I value people. So it's been a real change in my life.
That's one of the things that really gets me upset on Facebook. Is when people gets me upset on Facebook is when they post these memes of, well, God will take care of you. Well, no, it's not going to happen.
No.
We have to take care of each other.
Yeah, that's true. We're the only ones anyways. I mean, they always say, well, God works through people. Well, then people are doing the work. I mean, if God could do it, he wouldn't need people, okay?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
The reason people have to be involved, because people have to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I always think it's so funny is that they put all these fantasies about reality, but reality still stays the same. I mean, it still takes people to do things. Always. Mm-hmm. Not one church has been built by no one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Although they did have a church just down the road here back when I was in high school, had a big sign that said, under construction by God.
Yeah.
And I just had impish desires. What I really would love to do is win the lottery and have this big truckload of lumber and materials just dumped there in the middle of the night and watch their faces and see what happens. Just have this slightly evilish streak.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it'll be under construction. If it's only going to take guys to be under construction for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Never get finished.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you said like when you were a kid, did other people know? Because I mean, you probably live in a pretty religious area, I would think, in Virginia, don't you?
More or less.
So you don't think so?
I was isolated from it a lot because I just plain didn't pay attention to what other people thought, and it wasn't that I didn't care. I didn't understand that it mattered. Just to give you an idea, I thought until I was about 8 or 9 years old, it was about 3rd or 4th grade, that I did not understand the whole concept of race. I thought that, well, okay, this girl over here has black skin, this girl over here has brown skin, and, I thought that it was like having blue eyes or blonde hair or being short or tall, that it was an individual trait. I didn't have any idea of what race was until I was well past the age of, mindless indoctrination there.
Right.
So I honestly have to say that it was because I had a very short attention span. I wasn't really worried too much about what other people thought of religions or tastes in music. All of those things went in the same category for me. And so it never really was something that came up. Our family is basically based on the principle of cordial apathy. We're very nice to one another, but we really don't get into each other's business all that much.
Mm.
I think the only real ecclesiastical or religious discussion I ever had with a family member was my uncle, who is a deacon in the Presbyterian church. One Christmas Eve, I asked, there was a controversy here locally between a couple of churches as to whether or not animals went to heaven. And there was a lull in the conversation, and people were kind of getting a little bit strained back and forth for something to talk about. And I looked over and my uncle said, "Oh, you'll know, you're a deacon. Do doggies and kitties go to heaven?" And he said, "Well, if they don't, then I don't want to go there." And I thought, and I said, "Oh, okay, I can deal with that." And we went on. That is the sum total of every ecclesiastical discussion I've ever had with my family.
Wow. Not my family.
Oh dear.
Sounds like you had it pretty easy then. You didn't have a lot of outside pressure to do religion. Were there pressures in like school? Because sometimes when you're a kid, you go to school, even if your family, you know, is religious or not religious, that doesn't really mean your school isn't. I mean, there's sometimes, you know, the outside influence. Did you had any influence or any issues? I know you said you didn't care, but did anybody care that you weren't, or you just didn't care that they didn't care?
The only teacher I ever had that seemed to have any sort of overt display of religion was in 3rd grade, and before we'd go to lunch, our teacher would make us pray the God is great, God is good, little grace thingy.
Yeah, thank you for the food.
Yeah. Again, that was just another, okay, this is just another thing I have to recite before I can go eat. It didn't really take, I suppose. In high school, in 9th grade, most of the literature seemed to be either biblical or from the church. We did Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. We did the Book of Job. There was the story of David and Bathsheba. So I never did understand what that was all about. That was not as bad as the next grade, which was the Death and Dying course, where we had Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet and Death of a Salesman. That was all death and dying. No, but no, not particularly in school. There were some. Yeah, we actually, our little town here is between 2 very large universities. We're between Virginia Tech and Radford University. So we have a lot of professors' kids. A lot of the university professors are very much involved in the parent-teacher organizations. So we never really had to deal with a lot of the, you know, we got to have prayer in school thing.
So would you say because of the professors in the colleges, that makes it more kind of anti-religionist or non-religious or secular than it would be normal for Virginia?
I would say for some areas of Virginia, Virginia basically is 3 parts. You've got Northern Virginia, which might as well be D.C. area, Maryland up in there,
Right.
Which, you know, would kind of be more middle America, you know, dead average sort of thing. You've got the south side of Virginia, which is very poor. The economics down there, since the textile industry and the tobacco industry have basically, you know, fallen on, you know, next to no business. They're just now starting to get some different bases of income down there. Down in the south side, you'll find a lot of what you'd more think of as being southern, you know, Pentecostal holiness, that sort of thing. Here in southwest, kind of a mix.
You're by the ocean?
In southwest, we're in the mountains, far left.
Oh, well, west. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm thinking of east. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. So you're near West Virginia.
Right. I'm just about an hour and a half down from West Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason I was thinking you were actually saying the east side near the ocean. But I was a truck driver, so I've been to every single state in the United States, so I do have an idea of my head what you're talking about. So is that this 71 that goes through that side?
81.
Huh?
81. Mm-hmm.
Oh, 81, not 71. 81.
Yeah. Yeah, we could right down through 81. In fact, I can almost throw a rock to 81 from here. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a lot of the little backwoods churches through here. You might even find a snake handling church or 2, but they're not really legal here in Virginia.
Oh, they're illegal?
There are licensing laws for handling venomous animals and exotic animals, and they're kind of classified as exotic. It is possible to get licenses, from what I understand, but it's not really so much a thing here as it would be, say, in Kentucky or, you know, mountains of Tennessee, somewhere in there. Most of all,
does West Virginia have snake handlers? It seems like they would too, right?
I think so, but I'm not entirely certain about that.
Okay.
I think you can have it up there. Again, most of the people around here are, you know, covered dish Christians. You know, they do their little thing. It's a social time. It's a time for everybody in the community to get together. You know, Mom and I even laughed that when I was a kid, there were a couple of preachers fired from churches here downtown, Christiansburg, because their sermons went on too long, and their sermons went on too long.
Oh.
So that their congregation can get to the buffet. You got to be forced to go to the buffet. What's the matter with you?
That's always funny to me because people are like, they say they want to go to heaven. Heaven, yeah. You mean the place where supposedly you're supposed to like worship God forever? I mean, if you don't like listening to a sermon for an hour and a half, do you really think you want to spend the rest of your life, if there was such a place as heaven, worshiping nonstop? That does not sound like heaven to me.
Now, I could go with the Norse, idea of Valhalla or even Fiddler's Green. We can negotiate on that a little bit, but no, definitely not Christian heaven. That's not.
Christian heaven is you worship God nonstop. I mean, it's like, no. I mean, what's so funny to me is in general, like the saying that if you don't worship God, the rocks and the trees will. It's like that's how egocentric that God is. You know, he constantly needs praise. It's like,
Exactly.
It's just how they read that, and they fawn over him. It's so amazing to me. Like even like you said, Norse gods, but the Vikings, didn't fawn over their deities the way the Christians do. I mean, they almost have like a romantic relationship with the deities. Bizarre.
When some of the more famous warriors would challenge the gods,
Yeah.
So we have a contest of skill or strength. That makes for great storytelling too.
Yeah, that reminds me when you said that, because I was thinking, that's the difference, I think, between what you just said is the difference between Christian and Jew. Even though supposedly same God, the Jews would challenge, and I think some of them still do sometimes challenge the God, but that's not a Christian. You don't challenge anything, no reason, no thinking, just...
The Abraham thing of, well, if you wouldn't destroy the city if there were 40 gods in it.
Right.
Well, what about 30? 10, 5, 2?
Yeah. Exactly. And could you imagine really a Christian, trying to do that? They'd be like, whatever God says. In fact, I went to a debate one time, and this person from the audience, they were talking about, God killing people, in the land of Canaan, supposedly, which never happened. But supposedly when they went from Egypt to the land of Canaan, after 40 years, and they took it over and conquered everybody. Total bullshit. Archaeologically. It's not even true. But supposedly when they did that, they were supposed to kill like women, children, babies, and to kill and only keep the virgins for themselves. I'm sure you probably heard that before. Well, he stood up and said, yeah, but that was just because God can do what he wants. It's like, I don't even understand how they can, like, in their head, I mean, I was a Christian, so but I never really was challenged. It's like I never went to a debate, never heard an atheist. It's so hard now because I don't remember being challenged. They just told me this was correct, and I just believed it. I didn't even think about it, which is so bizarre to me, which is why I know they like non-thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I looked at most of it as fairy tales. And even when reading the Bible, it was more about the fact that I could sound out words and I could sound like I knew what I was talking about. And I might as well have been reading Lewis Carroll's Jabberwocky for all the sense it made to me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed, reading in front of people and having them praise me for, performance, essentially.
So it sounds like then you were pretty smart. I think I was pretty stupid. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I now think of it like, man, was I like in like a brain daze or something? I mean, everything you say is reasonable, and I don't know how that didn't make sense. I was 36 before I realized. And I read the Bible twice. I mean, it just I don't even know what the excuse I have. Because you sounded a lot more obviously aware than I was. I must have been like brain dead reading it.
See, I would see it as the opposite, that I was putting my own pain, and that I didn't care what was going on as what was going on internally in my own dialogue. The internal dialogue made sense to me, and so I didn't even try to reach out, out to anyone to see what their interpretation might be. So, for whatever reason, but there are things that I don't want to let go of. There are still things that what they call the woo or the supernatural.
Yeah.
Things I wish were true. I don't think are true, but I wish they were, and I would like them to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, I used to think that ghosts were real, and I first became an atheist. I used to call myself a spiritual atheist because I thought, kind of like you said about animism, like maybe there's like a spirit and everything, or ghosts or something. I knew there wasn't a God, but it's really hard when you come from. I know yours is a little bit different. You kind of always doubt it a little bit, but for me, I didn't doubt anything, so it was really hard for me just to do a clean break with all the stuff. Some things, lingered, like a superstition that we had some kind of a soul or spirit or something, something. I don't think I did now, but I did for a while, and but I was willing to test that. Even I paid money and I went to a haunted house, a real haunted house in Savannah, Georgia, because I wanted to, and they're like, well, don't make them mad. So I was like, fuck you and this and that, and you suck, and I was trying to piss them off. I mean, I wanted to see a ghost. If this is real, and if it's not, I want to know, because I know what you're saying. There's things I made. That's why I tell people don't believe everything that you like. Sometimes, or you think, because sometimes we think things, we would like them to be true, but that doesn't make it real. So, and just because something seems like it should be real, or doesn't mean that it is. Just so, but I was really willing to test that.
That's kind of how I got all the way to atheism, was that I always wanted to take whatever scared me and track it down, find out what the real story was. In fact, right now I live in a house that was built by my great-grandparents, and it's a tiny little house, and it's just down the street from a local haunting of ours, our middle school. That was a tale that scared the daylights out of me as a small child. And I spent a great deal of time tracking down the real story of the real people involved, which was both horrifying and less, because they became human. They became real people to me instead of just a tale of terror.
Right.
My great-grandfather actually drove a carriage for they call them the Black Sisters. If you look up in ghost lore, the Black Sisters, Three Sisters in Black, or the Wardlaw Sisters, would be the ways to define them.
Okay.
But yeah, I have a great kinship with them now. I just feel a continuity with that whole family now that I've read and understand a lot more about what really happened.
Right. So what really happened? What's the synopsis of it?
Well, of course, the short tale is the ghost tale, which was there were three witches who ran this girls' school up here on the hill, and they would sacrifice babies to the devil, and they killed their own brother and drowned him in a well. And if you speak ill of them, they'll come and get you too, even though they've been dead for over a century. And the real story was that the Wardlaw sisters came from an old Southern family, an old Savannah family. The family's fortune had been decimated in the Civil War, but the oldest of the three sisters in question, now there were more siblings, I don't even remember how many, 6 or 7 of them. The three sisters we're talking about here are Caroline, Katrina, and Mary. And their story traces from Georgia through Tennessee, through here, and finally culminates up in New Jersey in a murder of one of their daughter, the niece of the other two. But the whole thing is really about money. Let's see, their aunt had started this school over here, the Virginia Female Academy, on the horrendous and scandalous idea that girls should learn math and science and biology.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh.
In the 1880s, 1890s. Oh, yes, just scandalous. I don't know what we're going to do. And when she was raised...
Actually, no, they'll teach women to read the Bible, you know? I mean, think for themselves. I mean, oh, it's horrid. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. So their Aunt Luciana was the one who started this, and then when she was ready to retire, she wanted one of the sisters, Virginia, to take over for her. And Virginia had already run a school in Tennessee. So she came up here, and basically the financial troubles had followed them. There were some stories that several relatives of theirs did meet their end in very odd ways. One cousin of one niece, nephew, I think. Anyway, brother-in-law was one of the sisters. He met his aunt finally by burning to death over here just across the road. Before that, he had been pushed from a train and nearly drowned to death in a well, which provided them with an insurance payout. The same thing with the niece/daughter that they killed in New Jersey. That was also about an insurance payout. There were several other people, evidently, that met their ends, that they got financial benefit either from wills or financial payout, if there were suspicions. But nothing ever really proven until the incident in New Jersey. So, but to see a family that, an old, very well-respected family descend into such a tabloid sort of story, it's really sad. You know, it's just a very sad thing. And it becomes less fearful and really more sad and more human.
Yeah, the real story is always going to be, you know, more tangible and real. It's funny how, like, I think that's why sometimes, like, you know, gods or, you know, the things of religion can sound better because they're a long time ago. Nobody knows, so you can, you know, you keep adding to the story and it makes it sound, you know, more magical and better. And probably the real thing was, you know, if it had any tangible reality at all, it was pretty basic. You know, just like you said about that story. I mean, people blow things out of proportion.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So one of the tales was around that the sisters had sacrificed the devil in order to receive sacks of gold, which are now buried in legends tell us around Christiansburg for these sacks of gold are supposedly buried. Well, my daddy and his brothers took metal detectors to most of those places. They dug them up pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's when it comes to myths and legends, you know, they're always going to be. That's why I think it's even good for us to know even like some people don't realize that even like we have legends about, you know, like our presidents and stuff that aren't, you know, or our founding fathers that aren't totally accurate. We blow them out of proportion and make them something they're not. That's like I hear a lot of people, you know, say that Lincoln, you know, really cared about slavery. Yeah, but he didn't totally care about equality. Because, I mean, there's a quote that he says that the black man will always be below the white man, as it should be.
Yeah.
He wasn't for, you know, but I'm just saying, but people don't bring that up. I'm not remembering exactly how the quote goes, but it's something like that. Something about, he said it. He then later, you know, said that he, you know, he changed his mind. But I'm just saying, how often do you hear them talk about that, you know, he basically said something very, very racist?
Well, see, that's another point, though, isn't it? Even our leaders, people who are legendary in, you know, the American mythos, working in it and looking minds on things as they were to see. And to say that, well, George Washington believed X. Well, at what age did he say? Did he say this throughout his life? At the end, at the beginning? You know, people.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Coming from Virginia, we see most of the founding fathers as neighbors, so we don't see them so much as deities. We see them as, you know, friends across the street.
Right. Well, I mean, some stuff actually happened, and wasn't actually, I think George Washington was from Virginia, wasn't he?
Yeah, Washington.
Or was a soldier for Virginia or something?
Mm-hmm. Right. People who wanted someone like either Patrick Henry, who's also Virginia, Patrick Henry or Jefferson to be leader of the Continental Congress, but Jefferson is one of them who suggested Washington because he was much better in it. That was his reason. But I mean, he was a basic good soldier. You know, people try to make him more than he was. I think that she should be, because he would have done what with all the human foibles that everyone has.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Just like Benjamin Franklin, you know, he was probably a swinger and a nudist and, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And like, why is that a bad thing? I mean, it's funny how you know, that, well, because then he can't be an intelligent? Because what does that have to do? You know, it's like somebody being, you know, gay, you know, like they can't be president or something, or why? Why does that, you know? Or like people make a big deal, you know, about the which I think it's great though, that first bisexual mayor of Portland, Oregon. Do you hear about that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, she's a female, the first openly bisexual. I think she's the mayor or something of Portland or something like that. But Portland, Oregon. But I mean, the fact that it shouldn't matter. I mean, people, you know, can do a good job. What is that like? So it's just funny how they, you know. But it reminds me when people say, "Well, if they're a good Christian," you know. Yeah, what does that mean?
You ought to beat that chair.
Yeah, there you go. But you know what I'm saying? Like people will say, "Oh, that person has faith," you know, like that makes them good.
Yeah. My mother will still use that. She still use the word Christian for a good person. Well, he's a Christian man. And I looked at her this last time. She said, "Mama, you haven't been a believer for many years. How come you still use that word?" And she just kind of, I don't know, it's still just kind of a synonym in my head. So, you know, like I said, she hasn't been in church for decades. She still uses it. Good.
So is she non-Christian or non-theist, or is she actually an atheist?
I think she's an apatheist.
Apatheist. She just doesn't care.
Yeah, if something is out there, it will take care of itself. I said it one time. So if something is out there that's bigger and better than me, and it'll take care of itself, and I'll take care of myself, and everything will be fine.
Hmm. So it's apatheist, because there's also like a somethingist when people go, well, there's something out there. They don't define what it is. I don't know, but there's something. There's something more than us. And that's like somethingism. It's not really deism because they haven't classified that it's a god. They're like, I don't know, but there's more than us, you know. Well, yeah, there's a whole universe more than us. That doesn't make it a living being.
Well, even here on Earth, I mean, so many religions from, you know, through antiquity, that are alive at the present, have very different views as to what anything divine might be.
That's true. That's very true.
One particular one is the definite truth. Is a little bit of hubris there, maybe, you know?
Yeah, what's really funny too is that how after 5,000 years and down to 2,000 especially, really the thought that it could be male or female or male and female, you know, just dwindles to nothing by 2,000. It's years ago. It's almost nothing. But it started about 5,000 years ago of it losing female possibility of being now, because now everyone just says God, like everything's all male. Like that's the only possibility. It's just
Part of the attraction of the neo-pagan movement for me was the idea of having a goddess and a god,
right,
and having that balance. And it appealed to the aesthetic in me to have things, even like physical manifestations, like your dinner table. Like I always go back to food. It's the most basic things that humans share with one another is your food, water, wine, whatever. And to have your table set up to where you have the half for the goddess and half for the god, and you have the male symbol and the female symbol, and just having that balance just appealed to me on an aesthetic level.
yeah. Well, I was just saying, I have my book going to be coming out, soon, The Tree of Lies and Its Hidden Roots, and I start religion at 100,000 years ago with intentional grave burials, and they were sacredized by humans, and it's around that you already you start finding and then after you find worship of animals and goddesses mainly, or some kind of anthropomorphic figures in general. But it's funny how like you said that everybody now has this concept, like if you can't disprove a god, then you haven't you haven't done anything, or the only thing you have to disprove is a god, where like you said, if you would have said that to someone 8,000 years ago, they would have gone, what's a god?
Mm-hmm.
or
I felt sorry for you for having just one. Well, you poor thing, you only have one? That would just be a pitiful state.
Yeah. What's funny too is that like a lot of them when they would travel, because I know that a lot of them the reason why eventually a lot of the pantheism became so large wasn't because they started off with 100 or 10,000 gods or something. They started off with a few, and then everybody they meet, they go, oh, that god sounds reasonable, I'll believe that one too. And so they would add stuff, or they would take some away and add. But it's funny how there's a lot of shared ideas that, like a lot of the ones that even India has. Some of those ideas didn't come exactly from India. Some come from northern Pakistan. Some come from China. Some come from the Middle East, like Iran. Some come from Afghanistan. And then the same thing. Some of the stuff from there goes up to to there in Turkey. Affects Greece, and it's the Greeks affected the Romans. It's just funny how a lot of that paganism is all over the place.
Well, a good idea is a good idea, whether it's homegrown or whether it comes from someone else. And I remember my mother called attention to an article a little while ago, probably a week ago, where people in India were still having basically high tea, even though they were no longer part of the British Empire, and they still had some of the little and everything, but with Indian, flair, the different flavors to the teas, different flavors to the cookies, and stuff like that. And some of the cultural purists were basically giving them a problem over it. And they said, well, look, cookies are good. Get over it.
Yeah.
While you're having them.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's different, and there's definitely a lot of shared ideas. I agree. Some ideas are good and don't need to be to be gotten rid of. I mean, I think that even though I don't agree with religion, I do like the fact of like caring about nature. I do think it's important for us to to value nature, and not just for what we can take from it.
Yeah, exactly. And to have a sense of belonging as well.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I do think religion does well. That we don't need the bad bits. You can. We don't still. There are a lot of things that we don't do. I always go back to medicine. We don't do a lot of bloodletting. God, some disease where that will actually help.
Yeah.
There's some at super high iron levels where they actually have to once once every couple of months or whatever. But there are many things we've done in the past for medicine that we really honestly thought was a good thing, only to find out later, no, that's really not. What we really need to do is this over here.
Right, right.
And we're still, finding out better things. The whole point is to keep finding out better ways to accomplish the things we want to accomplish.
Right. No, I agree. I think that's a good point. That reminds me of not this book, but one of my other ones that I'm going to be doing. I went and looked up about bloodletting because I wanted to see how stupid it was and how we don't do that anymore. And I found out there are a few times we still actually do that. I was like, wow, I didn't know we actually still did that. Like you said, almost for nothing. I can't remember. It's only like a couple things, 2 or 3 things that it's for. I can't remember now, but what they were. But I mean, it's funny how like you said, I was first thinking that we didn't use it at all. It was totally just like leeching. I mean, leeching, it's something they did a lot, and actually it's still doing. Just like even when people have gangrene, one of the best effects is an ancient thing of letting maggots eat the dead skin. Which sounds medieval, but actually it's actually a real thing that still occurs today. But it's funny how I agree that sometimes things that we think we can't use anything. There's some things we can use, but we need to do it with sense. Like obviously not leeching just every time you have a cold.
Exactly. And one of my pet peeves is the alternative medicine. Well, there's no alternative medicine. There's only things that have been proven and not. And there's some gray area in between of things that still need more testing, which is just one thing. Things that we're just now finding out. But people say, look, people have been doing this for 1,000 years. Yeah, people have been dying for that long.
Yeah. Well, you're right, because I agree. Well, the problem is that some people, when they say alternative medicine, they think that makes it medicine. Well, it probably, if it's that word, it's either not medicine, because once something has been proven, it's no longer alternative. It's actually just called medicine.
Exactly.
But I do agree that doesn't mean that everything that seems bizarre couldn't possibly find evidence. Like I said, if I told you that we use, hospitals grow maggots and then put them in to eat people's flesh, you'd be like going, that has to be insane. But I do know that's an actual fact. Just like I know that there's some people that are trying to figure out how to use bee stings or whatever for bee venom for stuff to get people to feel sensations or something. There's different, and just like they're able to make some of the strongest metal out of spider silk, and like this one where I know that they're taking a gene of a spider and they're putting it in a goat and its milk duct. The goat makes milk, they strain it out and they get the spider silk. But I mean, so some things that I know that can sound alternative, like you said, doesn't mean 100% that some things can be gray areas that we need to prove. But I think that the problem with most people is, like you said, the 1,000-year thing. It's proved to be false, but they keep saying, yeah, but it's been used for 1,000 years. Well, it's been proved to be false. So it kind of like acupuncture. I mean, I've been to it before when I was younger, but they've done studies now, and it's no different than a placebo. They stuck people, with real needles, and then they used a toothpick and made people feel they were being stuck with a needle, and the people had the same response. So, I mean, it's like things like that. If it's been shown to be not, I don't even think it should be allowed to be called medicine. Maybe just alternative. That's why maybe they call it alternative therapy, right?
Yeah. Integrative medicine, I think, is one of the buzzwords these days.
But yeah, I think that when woo has been shown to be woo, it's not. But it's something, if it's something that has validity, I mean, I think we should test stuff. I think that's a good thing. Because, like I said, some things that are extremely bizarre actually might be good. But when they're found not to be, that I think that it's our duty to not, promote that. But I do. Go ahead.
Oh, that was the only bit of activism that I've done recently, because I was in Walgreens here, and they had several homeopathic remedies. They don't call it medicine; they call it remedies.
Oh yeah.
And one of them was my pet that I hate passionate, the psilocybin. It doesn't even exist. Even the thing that's supposed to be diluted, it doesn't exist.
What was it?
Axiological. It's the one that was supposedly derived from duck liver.
Oh.
The Axiological was supposed to be an oscillating bacteria that was discovered in the duck liver by one of the originators of homeopathy. But it turned out that what he thought was a bacterium was just an anomaly on the lens of the neck. And that the still sell these pills of psilocybin as a cold remedy. So now I had a very nice chat with the manager of the Walgreens.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact he has no choice of what he has in that store.
Yeah.
It's all done by him. But he learned a lot, and he was actually incensed. He was more upset about it than I was by the end of the conversation. His pharmacist, he had asked his pharmacist, well, what does this thing actually do? The pharmacist said something, well, it's just magic. It doesn't really do magic. So. But we had a very nice chat, because I went at it from the probably don't know. We have several thousand items in the store, and I want to talk to you about one of the several thousand.
Right.
And so, what could we do to make this right? That's a corporate question. I said, well, pop them on the candy aisle. They're all sugar. Just pop them on the candy aisle. It'll be fine. He laughed. He said, the minute I get permission to do that, I'm going to do. But that was, I consider that successful self-educating, along with them. It has other people too. But to go at it from a standpoint rather than immediately taking the confrontational route, I think helped a lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on that. I'm probably more the confrontational.
Well, we need that is needed a lot of times, and sometimes sometimes I want a nice big guy like you behind me. I'll talk for a while, and it's like, oh no, you go out in front now, thank you.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I do agree that what you're saying. I don't want that to be my only style. It's not that I can't do that. It's just that I would like to have more than, it's like a toolbox. I would like to have more tools in my toolbox than hammer. I'll fix that. I have hammer.
But sometimes that's what you need too. So.
Yeah, so I'm not saying sometimes you don't need a hammer. Sometimes hammer is very effective. Build a lot of things with a hammer. But that's what I'm saying is I do realize that I don't want to be limited to only that. I know that, and plus I think that it's important for me to, like I always say, that for me I want to make sure that I don't forget my humanism. I don't want to be so into non-belief or whatever that I forget why it's important to have non-belief. Why would I even care to tell anyone else? Like you said, why would you care to talk about homeopathy? There's something behind that. What's the meaning? What the purpose? And so I really want to make sure that I don't forget that, because I think that that's really what's valuable. What's really valuable is I care. I want to not forget that I care. And if I just hit people in the head with a hammer, maybe I don't care so much.
Exactly. That's better. Yeah, I don't have most of my furniture over here yet, so I'm sitting on a beanbag chair. That's why I keep.
Hey, at least you're comfortable. That's all good. Nothing wrong with a beanbag. No, I like a beanbag. Beanbags can be comfortable. Problem is usually they're low. I get down, then it's harder to get back up. Getting it down is not the problem.
Yes, we got this snowstorm right as I was starting to move some of the larger pieces of furniture over here, and so everything's kind of stopped dead at this point.
Yeah. But beanbags are good. So it's good you're sitting in a comfortable chair. My wife always says I always sitting on the couch and do the interviews. I look like I'm laying back. I'm like, why should I be suffering? You know, in the armchair.
No, I just had to find a place in this house that didn't have windows all over the place because the light was so strong that it was washing out everything. So I finally found a wall that was on the inside.
Yeah. So, would you say one of your goals is to try to really go out and do more against woo and stuff, or?
I would say so. Maybe it is in the medical portions of it, because it is so. A lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it is very easily demonstrated to be cut and dry. This does exist. This does not exist. This does work. This does not work.
Right.
And I think people get intimidated by the white coats in the medical profession. They think that they're not capable of understanding the medical things that their doctors are telling them. And the naturopath or the holistic doctor will take them by the hand and go, oh, it's all right. You know, you don't have to understand all those fancy words. Just come over here and, you know, drink this tea and it'll be okay. And it's like, no. You can understand it. You might not ever, unless you become a doctor, you might not have the breadth of knowledge.
Right.
But you can understand your own condition. You probably have a limited number of conditions yourself. So you can, and the whole idea of someone lying to these people just was setting off nothing flat. I will just have a conniption fit about lying. That to me is unpardonable.
Yeah, I like you said, and I agree. I think it's also what you lie about that's even worse. It's if you were lying and you said this bubble gum tastes the best, you know, and then someone bought a different brand of bubble gum, and like you ever seen that? Is it? I can't remember now if it's like 5 gum or something. You ever seen that? And the commercials with the, you know, like things exploding. You know that commercial is bullshit. That shit does not happen. Not only that, I've tasted that gum. It tastes like dog shit, or spicy. Every one of them tastes the same to me. Like it's got wintergreen or some kind of crap in it, mixed with something else that shouldn't. It's like disgusting as hell. Like I don't know what exciting flavor. It's like someone adding black licorice to everything. You know what it tastes like? Fucking black licorice. It tastes disgusting. Not that gum has black licorice, but I mean it tastes like everything has wintergreen or whatever, that menthol or something. It's like all of it, or at least what I've experienced or remember. Anyways, I didn't like it. It tastes disgusting. But they're like, oh, it's the best gum. You know, that kind of lie doesn't really hurt anybody. But when you're talking about medical, and you're telling people this you can do instead of real medicine, that kind of lie to me is criminal, because that people can actually get hurt, actually die because of it. So I think I agree with you. It has to be attacked. I mean, you know, do I not like lying? Yeah, I don't like lying. I would challenge lying almost anywhere, but certainly things that could potentially harm people, it has to be attacked. It's an obligation. Just like, to me, I do a big thing, I don't know if you see on my page, about GMOs and vaccines. People not getting vaccines, people can get sick. GMOs, it doesn't hurt me personally. Maybe in our culture right here, where we have plenty of food, no big deal. But when 25% of the corn crop of the world is destroyed from rot and whatever, and maybe it could be not done so it could feed more people, that's a real detriment of you know, not caring about. So to me, I think that it's really important for us to care. I mean, we have to do what's science. I mean, I think it's part of the being an atheist, because I care about reality. I mean, in my world, there's no magic. Like you said, magic. There's no magic, then we have to care about what's real.
Especially if the whole point, everybody's point, religious people and non-religious people, if the whole point is to make things better, okay, well, we don't have a God that we're depending on. So we have to do it ourselves.
Right.
So, I mean, that just follows logically that you have to have some way of making it better for future generations as well.
Yeah.
On the vaccination thing, it's another thing that gets under my skin because I'm only one generation removed from real, honest-to-goodness epidemics.
Right.
Here,
Yeah.
if you go up the hill here to the graveyard, you'll see all these little bitty grave markers with lambs on them, and those are ones. Lambs and the diamonds are mostly small children, and you'll see whole bunches of these from the influenza epidemic, 19 teens. You see a bunch of those. You'll see a bunch of them from the various waves of whooping cough and polio and even measles. You can graph the dates from these tiny little tombstones up here. I've been to a local hospital that actually had the iron lungs for the polio victim. A whole room full of dozens and dozens of these iron lungs that were once filled with human beings. And we're just victims of our own success in that this newest generation thinks that, oh, well, that doesn't happen. Well, there's a reason it doesn't happen. There's a reason because our mothers and grandmothers and grandfathers made sure that it didn't happen again.
All right.
And it just gets all. And I was a baby who was allergic to eggs, so I couldn't take a lot of the vaccines. I depended on that herd immunity that everyone else had.
Right.
And if it wasn't for that, I might not have survived myself. So, again, that's a hot button for some of us, especially in the older ones who are like, no, wait a minute, we've seen what that does.
Right. Yeah, I think it's irresponsible. And what's sad is that even to have, I've had some atheists, supposed atheists and freethinkers and skeptics and stuff on my page arguing with me about it. I'm like, I don't even get what we're arguing about. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, I could maybe see, I would think if someone's a believer, but it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't even get it.
I mean, you're not allowed, there are certain things that you're just not allowed to deny to a child. You can't deny them food. You can't deny them water. I mean, anybody would take a child away from parents that denied it food and water.
Oh, yeah?
I don't see how medicine is any different from food and water.
Well, there's 2 states. People don't realize there's already 2 states in the United States that vaccines are mandatory. It's Mississippi and West Virginia.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Why is it 2 conservative, poorest states in the Union demand vaccination, but states like California don't?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is wrong with this picture? And then, we're taking away rights. I don't know. Rights of who? The parent or the child? Because I need to understand who you think has the rights.
Mm-hmm.
The child's right to not get sick, or the parent's right to do what they want with their child? Like you said.
Yeah. You can't deny them food and water. You shouldn't be able to deny them medicine. That's just, Now, you can get into some advanced treatments of, well, you have X condition that there are several different viable treatments, and to choose among viable treatments, that's a choice that, yes, parents need to be in on. But, something as basic as a vaccination, that's just, no. Even the basic philosophical libertarian in me just goes, no, kids getting a shot, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I'm a socialist anarchist or a mutualist, and more closer to what I am, but I think people own themselves, but that also means that I think that we're not islands. Mm-hmm. In other words, you have a amount of rights, but those rights also can't infringe on my rights, because I also have rights. So you like you said about child, or a person, you're herd. If we're all in this group together, all of us have to have our rights. So we're all, in a sense, infringing a little bit on someone else's rights. Because the fact of, like you said, if I can get you sick, then I can infringe on your right to be well. Your body integrity. So, you could demand, I do believe that we can demand that certain people, cannot be sick in a certain area because it's going to affect everybody else. You can't have the Black Plague and go, I have the Black Plague, and I have the right to walk into a hospital and just sit down, in the lobby and not get any treatment and come every day and just sit there every day, without getting treatment, and sit there and die and ooze and pus and whatever, or go to, a state house and do it, or go to school and do it. No, you don't have the right to do that because you're now infringing on everyone else's rights.
Exactly. There's just, even like I said, I'm basically a hillbilly, through and through. That I take care of me and I take care of mine and we take care of each other, and but once you start seeing everyone, seeing larger geographic areas as belonging to you and yours,
right?
We're all kind of one big family. It radiates out. Then I start to have that same protective feeling toward people I'll never meet in real life. I'll never meet in the same geographic area, because I still feel like they're part of my set.
Right. Yeah.
I think globalism and the whole internet connection and the whole internet communication thing I hope will do for other people too, is that we all start feeling like we're part of the same family. We may not all agree, we may have our feuds and our fussing, but you still have to come down to it eventually.
No, I think the internet's definitely, globalizing the whole world, and to have, more of an understanding of different ideas and things. It's definitely. I mean, I remember being a kid. It was not, I was a kid in Southern California. Shit, we didn't care about anything even in Northern California or Central California. Shit, we only cared about Southern California. You give a crap about nothing. But I don't have that opinion now. I don't even know some other people. It's not like that anymore. It's way more globalized. Everything is a lot more connected and involved. I know we which I think is good. Which it should be. We are all connected.
And I think even in the entertainment industry, I think we went through a kind of a constriction stage where if it wasn't on television, then nobody knew about it.
Right.
And before television, everybody had their own local artists and local bands and local, just local performers that you knew.
Yeah.
And television constricted that, and I think now we're getting back to, well, it may not be geographically local, but it's, well, I know this because my friends recommended this guy to me, and have you seen, this girl over here, because she's doing just amazing stuff. So it's like your little set has their own performers and people you admire and that sort of thing. So I think it's widening back out again from this constriction. That's been a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, I agree. We all benefit from shared ideas anyways. I mean, if we only were limited to one area, nothing would be the way it is now. I mean, our society as in general has been an evolving thing because of shared ideas. So it can also bring in bad ideas sometimes. I mean, it's not that society is some wonderful thing that every shared idea is going to be beneficial. Some of it, is harmful ideas. But I think that in general, like you said, I mean, it's like I think that even like look how fast the shared idea that it's okay to be gay, or it's okay to be bisexual or pansexual or transgender, or I mean this is a newer thing, and the idea is spreading globally. I mean it's just like look how many different countries, and it's not just America, that already different countries are having gay marriage and stuff. I mean the whole attitude is different. I think it's wonderful. We need to have, I see it as an extension of rights, though, in general. I mean, why is anyone allowed to deny someone else's rights? It should be the real question, not just that to say, oh, well, I think gay people have rights. It's like more should be, who has the right to say gay people don't have rights?
I feel my inner 5-year-old always coming out. They're just looking at it and going, why? And not really getting a good answer. So why that would be even something you'd worry about. Even my own development, my first real, honest, goodness, long-term relationship was with a woman, and we were together for I want to say almost eight years altogether. And because in the last 6 years of that, I guess, we were also part of a polyamorous group too.
Right.
Um,
Was it
and again,
polyamorous just with women or women and men?
it varied. It varied from time to time. The core group were the three of us women, and then there were a few other females and a couple of males that kind of floated in and out. But it stayed basically with the triad was the core of the group
Right.
there. But again, just because it's perceived as a progressive sort of family form does not mean it was a good thing either. It devolved into a very abusive sort of relationship too, which was kind of a strange thing altogether, defying all statistical models. But the man I've been with for the last 15 years, I met him while I was with the polyamorous, the group there, and he was intrigued by the whole polyamorous thing. And I'm afraid we didn't make a very good impression. it was bad by the time he came along. And so I finally left with him. I've been with him pretty much exclusively for the last 15 years. Completely exclusively for the last 13 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole thing about, like, I think relationships in general, I think that, every relationship can have problems, and every relationship can work for somebody. I mean, there's definitely not one size fits all, and I agree with what you're saying too. I think that sometimes the problem with people too is they think that everything's going to be the same. Even let's say if you're monogamous, and that may work for you, now, and then 10 years from now, maybe it never worked for you, but now it will. You could have been polyamorous and then not, and then you could be not, and then you could be polyamorous. I mean, the same thing with So I don't think that there's a distinctive, fixed thing. Some people it can be, but I mean, I think some of our fixed things is more we fix them.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be the people. Sometimes certain people, work better one way and work another. I mean, or sometimes certain relationships, I mean, aren't equal in how that we react to them.
It really does depend on the people involved, because I don't think we didn't set out, my partner and I now, I don't think we ever really set out to be monogamous. I think we got so tired of all the drama associated with multiple people around us that we became hermits and just said, I just can't take it anymore. I just can't stand the idea of another dynamic in the mix.
Yeah.
It's just too much energy. Can't quite deal.
Yeah. It comes and goes. I've been married for about 10 years, and I've been poly with her for about, I don't know, maybe 9 years, something like that. Almost to 10 years from the beginning.
Yeah, I think we started out just saying, well, I guess we're kind of openish, but neither one of us it's just not something that we really care to go out and find. We have other things that we're more interested in going and doing, and trying to integrate another personality into that is just more than we could do at this point.
Yeah, I'm more the one that likes to go have sex and stuff. It's usually because I'm a guy. Women are take more work, and I just like you said but it's more about time and effort. Women want to be more wooed or it takes more stuff, and it's usually just easier for me to just focus on doing my book or doing other things than constantly trying. Yeah, man. Not that it's not somewhat fun, but I mean it's just like you said. So I mean, I'm not like, because some people think because I have an open marriage must be on like having sex all the time. No, I mean it's not like constantly or something, So I don't have. I'm certainly not forcing monogamy.
But it's nice sometimes because he and I can both look at the same porn and still be like, oh, okay, well that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. See, like I would be more the one that look at porn. My wife doesn't really care.
I have gotten into more of the comic, the funnier ones.
Yeah.
No, at one point, somebody had lent me back in the days of DVD, and it was all cosplay, but it was really bizarre things like dressed up as a lobster, and it was meant to be funny more than anything else.
Yeah.
And I just thought, okay, the blend of erotic and humor is just too much to resist. If it's funny, okay, that's cool. A lot of the a lot of the anime is like that too. So I love the crossover blend of that.
Yeah, that's cool. So, have you experienced any issues being a female in the atheist community?
Not really, because I'm not. I'm mostly online dealing with people.
Well, I mean,
Um,
online people get sometimes threaten women's life. I mean, I,
yeah,
I don't know that you have to be in public to be hated. I think some people probably got more, you know, gall to do things online. I know some people talk to me online in a way they wouldn't talk to me probably if they were in person. They
yeah,
saw that I was 6 foot tall, and a big guy. They probably wouldn't be as willing to feel so bold.
yeah. I I have a high tolerance for ignoring most of the petty nonsense. Um, and I worked in law enforcement for a little while as a detention officer, so I've got a pretty good idea of the things that one should really take seriously, and the ones that you just hit the delete button and don't even think about anymore.
Yeah.
But I cannot say that I have experienced any more in the atheist community or among atheist people than I have on the web in general. There's always this background of people that want to get under your skin. And I think that's true whether you're male or female. They want to get under your skin, and they'll pick something that they think will get under your skin.
Yeah.
And I've basically been on the web since the late 90s, and so I've got pretty much a good handle on, okay, that's a delete button, that's a delete button, okay, oh, that's a different kind of one. But no, nothing different in the atheist
So
community.
would you say that you've experienced? You said it was nothing. It was equal. Is it better in the atheist community? You think for you as a woman than you are in the general public, or is it really the same?
I think it's better from the members of the atheist community itself. I think it's a lot better. I have seen some things to the contrary, but as far as just numbers of people on average, I'd say it's better within the atheist community. I think there are people that target that are not in the atheist community who target women who are,
Yeah.
and that because they think that, well, if you don't have religion, then you must be loose, you must be a slut, you must be something like that, and so it's okay to talk to
We're
you
talking
after.
about my girlfriends like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I think that's a lot of what's coming it's coming from the outside of it.
Yeah. Have you experienced anything about being bisexual or anything like that?
Not really, but then I'm older. I'm 46, and so I'm not usually
How
perceived.
old do you think I am?
Well, I mean, it
I'm
depends.
older. You're older, because then I have to be older. Wait a second here.
Well, see, what's the old phrase? This is an old comic phrase from the Jack Benny days, I think. But that men age like fine wine and women age like milk. But so,
Well, I don't think that.
but
I'm 43, so if you're 46 and you're old, damn it, I'm almost old or I'm already old and just don't know it.
but see, neither one of us would be perceived as
Old.
you absolutely must be in the dating scene because you're in early 20s. Oh, early 20s is automatic target. Once you get into more mature, more settled, you're perceived as more settled, I think. And I get a lot of being treated like like mommy, even from people older than I am. I never have quite understood that, but because I do try to have a very calm personality, and it's like, okay, well, somebody's being an idiot, somebody's being an ass, okay. Excuse me, could you please not do that? Thank you very much. I said quit it. You jump from 0 to 60 if you have to.
Yeah, I think that maybe it's because of my red beard and some of my personality. I think so sometimes people treat me like I'm still not, an adult.
Yeah, but I'm not really being in the dating scene so much. I don't really get a whole lot of it. Um, oh dear, kitty cat sneeze.
Demon. My
That's a
cat.
great cat. My cat's named Lucy because I always wanted a cat named Lucifer.
Yeah.
The the
I named my cat Demon and Spirit.
the Disney Cinderella movie, the cat was named Lucifer, and I did not know as a small child that Lucifer was the name of a devil. I had no idea it referred to the devil. I just thought, well, that's a great name for a cat, so I always wanted a cat named Lucifer. But she was a she, so it's Lucy.
Yeah, well, that's what's funny about Lucifer. Actually, is a mistranslation of the old King James, because actually that was the king of Babylon. Lucifer had nothing to do with the devil or Satan or anything like that. It was just completely wrong. But people still say that it's wrong. In fact, if you get a Bible concordance, that says what the verse means, it says. I know my mom looked it up because I told her that. She went and looked it up because she's still a Christian. She's like, it does say that. Well, but I still believe it. I'm like, how could you still believe it? You just read it out of your own book in your own house, so you can't say like I've done something to manipulate it, and you still believe.
Oh yes, I actually, that's actually one of my favorite games. Is well, you know that this story is in the Bible, and tell one of the more horrific, stories out of there, and no, that's not in there. Yep, then look it up,
Exactly.
Oh, I think that's hilariously funny. But,
Well, you tell people, well, rape is bad, right? Oh, definitely. Oh, always bad. Yeah, unless it's your daughter, then that's okay. You can give your daughter to be raped. I mean, you do know about the story with the angels, right? I mean, famous story, right? Lot, like you said about Abraham. Lot, he's willing to give his virgin daughters to a crowd to rape and murder, other than, trying to rape these, guests of his.
Oh, I had a Sunday school teacher when she was telling the story of Lot, and she was evidently skipping over a lot of stuff. We were maybe 10, 11 years old, and so we're old enough to know, when an adult is, leaving out stuff.
Yeah.
She tried to say that the reason that Lot wanted to send his daughters out was because he was going to have them serve food to the crowd outside to calm them down. That he was going to give them the daughters were going to give them food and wine, and that would calm them down. And I'm just like, I'm a little kid, and even I'm not buying this.
Oh, I know, and then of course, even if you listen to the story, right? Let's forget all that. Then they always stop the story as that his wife dies, right, from looking back, turns into a pillar of salt, and he goes off with his daughters. Well, he goes off with his daughters, and they go in a cave, and then supposedly his daughters get him drunk, and more than one day, and he has sex with them, but doesn't know it's them, but thinks the whole world is gone. If you think the whole world is gone and you're having sex, even while drunk,
he thought it was a dream. Yeah, that's it. It was ancient aliens. That's it.
Ancient aliens. But what's funny about that story, if you're really critically thinking, let's even give it that he doesn't know, right? Yeah, but how many days? Because we know you don't one time get pregnant from one-time sex. So both his daughters get pregnant off of one night? That's a miraculous thing all in itself.
Because they had help from the ancient aliens, that's why.
It's like, that means he had sex multiple times with the daughters to have them get pregnant, probably months. So at some point he knows. So, it's the whole story is just ridiculous. I agree, ancient aliens. You know what, really, if the Bible would have said ancient aliens, that would actually be more credible.
It would seal up a lot of facts, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It's not credible, but it would be more credible than the stories that you're offered, because the stories you're offered, you're like, yeah, no.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Well, it's good to do you think you're going to be more active or just in the atheist community? Like, do you go to any meetups or anything in your area, or you just do online?
No, not currently. Just basically online. I'm member of a lot of the Facebook groups, and I've done some other Google Hangouts, but most only done it as a spectator before.
Oh.
This is the very first time I've ever used a camera in any of my laptops. This is really kind of cool. So we'll see about more that sort of thing.
Now I said you're a star now. You got an image to uphold.
Yeah. Oh, well, I hope I've been interesting. It's hard to be interesting for that long. I'm just a little old, gal from Southwest Virginia here. So.
Well, I appreciate you doing it, and I think it is great. It's good to hear different people. I mean, there's a lot of different people out there. I think that there's people that are just like you that they can connect with you and they understand. They may not understand some bald-headed guy with a red beard. And I don't think that everybody connects with me. I mean, I'm not the right fit for the whole world. So I do think it's great, and I do think that you matter. Everybody's voice matters in atheism, and that's why I really want to make sure that other people are heard that are not normally heard, because it does matter. I think that if we care about diversity, I think we should care about diversity.
Yes, I appreciate that too, and I just want to let people know too that just because in not all of the southern U.S. is Bible thumping, you're not going to get into a fight just having an atheist sticker on your bumper. There's plenty of people around here that do. There's plenty of people around here that have pagan stickers. I saw a card the other day that had pagan and atheist stickers. Not sure what that was all about. But you're not likely really to get into any real trouble unless you really go looking for it.
Right.
Now I say not likely. It's not 100%, but if you work at a place that has a lot of very Christian people, there's a chance you can have some problems, especially if that person is the boss. There's still a lot of, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of thing, and we won't fire her just for being an atheist, but we'll find something.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's not all bad down here, and there are plenty of little pockets here, Asheville, North Carolina, Hickory, plenty of spaces in Atlanta, in Georgia. Lived there too. Plenty of places, even in Tennessee, especially East Tennessee State University, all around that campus. There's plenty of places that are pretty much safe, and you can find all sorts of folks.
Right. Cool. Well, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate your life and sharing it with us.
I appreciate your invitation. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.